right, you guys know what time it is. We are officially in the locker room. It is Thursday. I am your host, Coach Terrence Wood, and I'm coming to you live, you guys, with one of the legends in football, especially when you talk about that Pacific Northwest and that Oregon football. And if you're joining us for the first time, the locker room show is where you get the truth. A lot of people act like they know about the football industry, you guys, but we only bring people who are eating it, living it, and breathing it. So you guys are gonna get the truth in the locker room. I've always got my host with the most, the one man that always holds me down every Thursday, and that is none other than the guy to my far right. That is Q, the guru. What's going on, superstar? You got your snacks today?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. Big shouts out to Mott's Fruit Snacks since 1842. You either Mott's or you're not.
I love them things.
You're Mott's or you're not, player. Yeah, I'm ready to go, y'all. Let's get it.
Hey, they ain't giving us no sponsor money yet, so watch them tags on the Mott. But I like the Mott too, and my little ones like the Mott. But let's get into the gentleman in the middle of the screen, you guys. This man holds and needs no introduction. This is somebody that I'm a California native, so I've known this young man for a while. I've seen him do his thing. Unfortunately, I saw my defense when I was at the University of Colorado and was only a freshman get eaten up in a bowl game by this guy. And then he went on, you guys, to be the number 3 overall draft pick in the 1999 draft. College football legend out of the University of Oregon, and that is none other than Mr. Akili Smith. How's it going, Playmaker?
It's going pretty good, man. How you guys doing out there?
Good.
Man, we're good, and it's good times, man. It's football season. I know you're training. I know you're coaching. So there's a lot to get into.
You guys kind of breaking up a little bit.
Okay. So we might have a little delay, you guys, but can you hear me now? Okay. So Akili, if you can hear me, brother, drop off. Okay, there you go. Can you hear me now, Akili?
There we go. Okay, yeah, I had to turn my Wi-Fi on. Sorry about that.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Sometimes the reception bounce off of Coach Freckles and it get a delay. So
see, there you go. Now you already know who we dealing with. You know who the jokester of the
crew is.
All right, so let's get into it, you guys, and bear with us. We're live, so if you do get a little bit delay, a little bit of feedback, that's because we're trying to bring you live some edutainment, you guys. So let's get into it, Akili. Obviously, man, big time career. You're the right person to have on this show for some of the topics that we have coming to you. And if you're joining us for the first time in the Locker Room Show, we bring live trending topics, things that you football players, you parents need to know about. So let's start off with our first topic, you guys, and you see it at the bottom of the screen on the ticker. And this man seems to stay in the news, and another California native, but Marshawn Lynch, you guys, has recently got a gig with Prime Video. He's going to be doing some Thursday night football coverage. And I wanted to ask you guys, we'll start with you, Akili, because everybody loves Marshawn, right? But we all know Marshawn a little rough around the edges. And I want to ask you, from someone from a PR standpoint, for the kids that watch Marshawn, why do you think he's able to get away with being a little rough around the edges when most of us aren't?
Well, for starters, he's a baller, and it seems like the ballers and Super Bowl winners and supposed to be a 2-time Super Bowl winner, they can kind of do what they want to sometimes, you know what I mean? And Marshawn is definitely one of those guys, but Marshawn was at Cal with my little brother when he was there. I know Marshawn real well. I know Kevin Parker, his business assistant, real well. He was actually my teammate at the University of Oregon. That's a real good brother, man. And if you spend some time with him, you would definitely want him to be a part of your network.
That's a great point right there. And yeah, shouts out to KP, Oakland native, Skyline, yes, Skyline High School. And Q, I'm going to bring it to you. I mean, as far as Marshawn, would you say a lot of these young kids need to follow his blueprint, or you can't be Marshawn? There's only one Marshawn.
Well, I mean, I think Marshawn is showing the kids that it's about being yourself. That's the
Right.
whole key. Is it Marshawn is Marshawn, and that's why he's off the field. Obviously, he is a baller, you know, like Akili is saying, but it's about you being yourself and not trying to be anything else outside of that. That's the whole focus on him.
That's a great point right there. So, you know, you young kids watching, you know, that can't work for everybody, but you need to be yourself so you're comfortable in these different settings, especially once you go off to college, if you get a chance professionally. I see some people joining us. That's Mother Victoria Jones said, I jumped on late, but I'm here, fellas, and I'm going to hold you down. So thank you for joining us. And we're on to our next topic, you guys, and this is obviously real time. This is Monday night. This went down where, unfortunately, we saw superstar Devonte Adams. We seem to be covering a lot of California Bay Area natives, but Devonte Adams got a little physical, fellas, with the reporter or the photographer that was covering the game for ESPN. And I wanted to ask you guys, I'll start with you, Q. That was a heated game. You know, this is a rivalry.
Yeah.
I'm balling out. You know, this is right after I leave the field and somebody's running in my way. Do you think this is one that the NFL should maybe get his cat a couple dollars and let slide? Or do you think that this photographer is well within his rights to file his lawsuit?
I mean, I think in some ways he has that right, but being a photographer, being upfront and personal with athletes, you know, in heated games, this is a high testosterone sport, man, of them all. You know, so it's one of those things where that kind of comes with the territory. I mean, even if I remember, if y'all want to take it back to the 90s and remember when Rodman kicked that photographer. Remember that one? So I mean, it comes with the territory. That's where you get those memorable shots that no one else can get because you are that close and personal. So in some ways, it's like, yeah, he can file, you know, whatever lawsuit he wants, but it comes with the territory.
Akili, talk to me. I mean, literally, you've been probably pissed off walking off the field in a game. Do you think there needs to be more barriers around these players right after a game, or you think this was just a chance coincidence?
Yeah, there needs to be barriers until we can start to get the guys off of the field, especially in a rivalry situation like this. You know what I mean? And I'm going to take you guys back to when I was coaching at Cal. I was coaching at Cal. We took some kids up into San Quentin, and we visited some of the guys on the yard, and we had a chance to sit down and talk to about 15, 20 guys with KP. It was KP's program back in the day. And the one thing that all of them kept saying, one of the one things that all of them kept saying over and over and over again is, I snapped. That was one common theme. I snapped. And that's all Devonte did. He was pissed off. Somebody walked in front of him. He snapped and pushed him. And then next thing you know, he's got an assault charge. They're probably going to settle out of court. He's going to have to, he's going to have to pay a couple dollars to kind of make this thing go away. And he's got plenty of money. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. He just snapped and now he's going to have to pay for it.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate, because he's in the mix. He didn't know if this person was a fan, if this was
no
a real
idea.
photographer,
Right.
and he just snapped, you guys. So this is something a lot of you young players need to keep in mind, especially as you move up the ranks. People aren't going to give you too much grace, because they know you're making money and they don't care because they're not used to that in their work environment. So we saw the Draymond Green thing recently. People aren't used to that, in their work environment. So people snap, you guys, and it doesn't make it right. We're not condoning it, but this is a different world that these young men are living in. It actually brings me to real quick the military comparison. And my grandfather, rest his soul, was in the military, but when he first got back from the Korean War, my mom and family was saying they had to wake him up with a broomstick because you couldn't make loud noise. It's right after. So you get knocked out if you go rush them. Say, hey, daddy, wake up. you're gonna get knocked out because you got to wake up ready to
Wow.
fight.
That's deep.
So
Yeah, that's deep.
so it's interesting how these guys have to go through some things. But on to our next topic, you guys, and this is a great one that I wanted to bring up for you, Akili, because obviously, man, you've lived a life that very, very few will have the opportunity to live. And, guys have their family and their friends, people that have come up with them for years. And once you get to a level, maybe even to a certain extent, you feel like you've owed some of these cats, or you want to bring them around because they held you down. You didn't have no shoes for that practice, and they gave you some shoes. So I wanted to ask you, man, when you think about players and their entourages nowadays, what would be maybe some advice that you could give to some cats about who they hang with?
Well, the biggest thing is you got to make sure that they're solid, right? They got to be solid people. You got to be around solid and genuine people that's not running around here with motives or not running around here with open cases and all kind of, baby mamas and drama and all kind of stuff, felonies. You just can't be around it, especially when you get yourself in the limelight, because the old saying is always birds of a feather flock together. And they'll start to compare you to the people that you're hanging around with. And subsequently, I had a friend of mine who scored a touchdown in the Holiday Bowl. He jumped into the bleachers, and it was a bunch of people sitting in the stands. And a lot of them, players that was on that team was from Skyline, was from Lincoln, was from a lot of different blood sets. And guess what they did to him? They put him in that category, and subsequently, it hurted his draft stock. So you have to be careful. Yeah, you have to be careful with who you're hanging with and what you're doing, because a lot of people will view you that way.
Wow, that's huge right there, and something that you young players got to keep in mind. Q, talk to me. I mean, you come from St. Louis, man. There's some cats you came up with that obviously you feel like you want to hold down, and then there's some cats like Akili said that maybe have an agenda. What would be your couple tips for these kids listening as far as who they bring with them when they start balling?
I mean, no, I agree. I mean, I'm going to say, Coach, first and foremost, if you going out, to kick it anyway, first, the top of the list needs to be security. That like forget, and that's to me, that's one of the main things that these players forget. You leave out, like forget leaving out with 20 of your boys. Where's your security at? That's the first thing you need to do. And then obviously, what Big 11 just said, hey, make sure that you're selective in regards to your circle. But anytime this comes up, security is going to be the top of the list for me. And a lot of players, they forget about that, leave out. And a lot of these guys end up getting robbed, which you're starting to hear even more frequently than ever as well. So, yeah, that's going to be, if it's an entourage, in the entourage is security.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right,
yeah,
that's big, you guys. And I see some of our people in the comments. Hey, Armando, D3 running back. He's doing big time things on the East Coast. And then Avocado Baby says, too urban. What's too urban? And he's talking about this slide
we know
right
what
here.
too urban is.
Yeah, we do know what too urban is.
That's a code word. We all know what that means. Too urban.
So we are on to our next topic. Man. And if you're joining us for the first time, thank you for joining us. We're in the locker room, you guys. This is where we hold it down. Only football topics, guaranteed to bring value to your journey. So our next topic, you guys, is the Jackson State program, which has been making big moves. Obviously, since Dion got there, and they're basically trying to put some money behind all the talk, you guys. And Dion and the crew says, you know what? We bringing money to the city of Jackson. It's time for us to get a new stadium. So it looks like the city council has voted on it, and they do want to bring a new stadium to Jackson, Mississippi. But I don't know if you brothers have been to Jackson, Mississippi, but they're obviously dealing with some financial issues, and recently had the water crisis. So talk to me, Akili. You think it's a good time for them to put some money behind the football program, or you think maybe hold off on this?
No, it's actually sad that it took Deion Sanders to shed some light on what HBCUs have been doing the entire time. And I always
Okay.
say, like, Deion is he's the Moses of the HBCU, just opening everything up so that people can start to pay attention to it. Obviously, he has some Power 5 opportunities. He decided not to do it. And now he's starting to get a stadium done. I seen a special where he went to another Mississippi State school in Mississippi somewhere, and I seen their practice field, and I was like, what the heck is that? Why are they practicing on the practice field like that? And you got all these youngsters trying to play college football. It makes absolutely no sense. But now on the flip side, from what I'm hearing, a lot of the funds have been misappropriated, right? So the people that have been in charge of the money in the HBCUs haven't been doing right by the kids. So that's got to get cleaned up as well.
That's a great point right there. And yeah, we can't have any misappropriated funds because every dollar counts, especially at that level. Talk to me
Right.
a little bit, Q. Obviously, football drives commerce, whether it's the
Of course,
Mhm.
school
of
or the
course.
city. But they're struggling a little bit in Mississippi. In your opinion, do you think Coach Prime and the team need a new stadium?
I mean, I feel like that they need a new stadium, but so does a
Yeah.
lot of HBCUs, in regards to facility upgrades. I mean, that's one of the main things that is the separating factor between them, and the Nebraskas, and the Colorados or what have you. I think that it could be a good thing for the city of Jackson. Reason being is because obviously Deion is the coach. They have a great team. He's building a program, and possibly that could bring more spectators in from out of town to come see them, which might bring more revenue into the city overall. So I think that that's a large factor of why they agreed to it. Like, hey, we do have other, issues in regards to like the water situation or even,
Yeah.
roads or whatnot. But if this can help bring in additional revenue to help with our other situations. So I think it's a good thing for sure.
No
Great
question.
point. Great
No
point. So
question.
hey, Jackson, Mississippi, you guys, I see you playing offense, and hopefully that pays off for you guys. Obviously, football brings in the dollars. We're on to our next topic, you guys, and I got two great people to talk about this topic. And as you guys know, it's getting close to that time where the high school football is dwindling down, and now these boys
Mhm.
are starting to look at some recruiting opportunities and some big time visits that they're going to be going on. And I wanted to talk to you two gentlemen about what's some advice that we can give these kids because Akili, some of these kids are going to make decisions that they can't get back. They can maybe jump in the transfer portal, but it's
Mhm.
not as hot as when I'm 17, 18. If I can get it right, that first time decision, I might not have to go in the portal. So,
Right.
Yeah.
what are some things we know they're going to get sweet talk? We know they're going to get the good words in their ear, but what are some things, maybe some silent things that they need to look out for?
I think the beauty of it now is that we have an opportunity now to take unofficial visits and stuff like that because of the college tours, the 7-on-7 camps, and all that stuff that's going on that we didn't have way back in the late 80s and the 90s, right? So you'll get an opportunity to step foot on the campus, take some pictures, go in the locker room, meet the coaches and all that stuff, and you can get a feel for if you like that program. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, I got into a little debate with one of my friends because he says you always want to follow the coach, fall in love with the coach. I kind of agree with that and I kind of don't because we were talking about, Mario Cristobal, right? If Mario
Mm-hmm.
Cristobal left Oregon and went to, say, Tulane, if you will, no disrespect to Tulane, is all of those 5 stars going to follow him to Tulane as opposed to Miami? So from that regards there, you have to be able to fall in love with the school first. Make sure you like the school first. And then after that, you got to fall in love with the coaches.
What was it about Oregon that made you? Because I know you had a bunch of options. What was it about Oregon that made you say, "I'm going to Oregon"?
Well, I was there at Grossmont Junior College on the field, and Mike Bellotti and Chris Peterson stood behind me. They recruited me. And then at that time, we had the most wins in the Pac-10. A lot of people don't know that. We don't have the national championships yet. Hopefully we can get one soon. But as far as dominating the Pac-10 and dominating the Pac-12, I mean, we've been the cream de la creme for that for a long time. They were able to put that stuff on paper, show it to me, and it was a no-brainer at that time.
Obviously, offensive gurus.
Right.
Q, talk to me, man. I mean, you had options too coming out to Lou, and you chose to go to Kansas. I know baseball was a factor, but what's something that I know the NIL deals are hot.
Yeah.
I
Mm,
know
Yeah.
that
yeah.
the stadiums are on these kids' mind and the facility. I know that the uniforms are on their
Yeah.
mind. Give
Right.
me something that's not typical that I need to be keeping an eye on if I'm a young hot recruit.
Again, really, I mean, Akili hit it on the head. It's falling in love really with the school. It's falling in love with the
Mhm.
school and trying to decipher, are these coaches really behind me as they say? And I know sometimes that's
Yes.
really difficult to see, but I mean, check too. I would look at the coach's track record. If it's a coach that's been a journeyman, it might not be it might not be a great
Yes,
idea
sir.
to go this route. Because if he's been a
Yes,
journeyman,
sir.
my freshman year by junior year, he might be shipping out when I need
Gone.
him most. You see what I mean?
Hmm.
Right.
So, but if his last 10 years, 10, 15 years, okay, this might be a good fit thing. You also need to take a look at, hey, I'm a 4 or 5 star recruit. I know I want my shot in the league. Hey, what exactly is the depth chart looking like? Do I have a whole ton of 4 and 5 star, recruits that are maybe a year ahead of me as well? Now, granted, I'm always going to be all for coming in and scrapping for, to be with the ones, but it might be a less road
A
travel
factor.
if it's like, hey, right, if I can come in ASAP because 2 juniors just, to say, for you, Akili, say 2 junior, a junior quarterback just declared early and you're a 4 or 5 star freshman, a hot out of JUCO. Well, you come in right now. You get the
Yeah,
playbook
I'm
down. You
looking at
come in
that.
right now. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So
Yep.
those are
Yep.
things that I would definitely be looking at.
And then let me say
Okay.
this. Let me say this as well too, because one thing I looked at, like just the Oregon staff and Cal staff and some of the stuff that's going on the West Coast. The first thing that I always ask is, did that coach move his family in town? Because you get a lot of coaches that will go to a school and they will leave their kids and their wives back at home somewhere. That is a red flag. Okay, a serious red flag. The next thing is, how old is your coordinator and position coach? It seems to me, just per the years, the younger that position coach is or offensive coordinator, them dudes is trying to bounce a little bit to make money. As they start to get older, then they're ready to
They
sit
want to
down a
settle down.
little
Yep, there
bit.
you go.
I'll stay in Eugene. I'll stay in Montana,
Yeah,
Nebraska. I'm
yeah.
A
old.
great
I got, you
factor.
know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
facts.
So you have to make sure you're paying attention to that stuff.
Absolutely. And like you
Wow,
said, to
that
you,
was a
all the
good one.
guys, yeah, like they're always looking, at the typical things like you were saying. But Keith, that was great points. Don't look at the
Mhm.
typical. Everybody's uniforms are fly. Everybody
Yep.
got 15 uniforms. Everybody's helmets are dope. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You have to
Yep.
you have to pull back the curtain because we're talking about, the next 3 or 4 years, of your life are gonna be crucial. Especially if
Right.
you really trying to, you have that kind of talent and you really trying to get a shot at the league too. It's like, man, it's a crucial thing to get it right, like you said, the first time, because man, that portal, that's a double-edged sword, man.
Ooh, they
Like
Wow.
sitting
when
in
you
there
stay
right
out
now,
that portal, you
man.
can help it. That's not where you want to be at. 4 or 5 star kid or not.
Man, I got a
Great
quarterback
point.
right now. He was at SC, and then he transferred to Boise. Bachmeyer went into the portal. He would have been starting right now. Right now, he's in Oceanside with a day-to-day job, waiting on somebody to call him out of the portal, and he never got that call.
See?
Wow.
Now that's what the
Man.
kids need to hear, 11.
Never
That's
got
what
the
That
the
call,
kids need
man.
to hear. That's
Sitting in the
exactly what
portal.
wow.
they need to hear. Now you've heard it
Yep.
live here, folks. And that's exactly the stories that they need to hear.
Yep.
That
Yep.
portal's
No
not
question.
always it, man.
Nah,
That
that
is
ain't it,
not the
man.
end
Don't
all
fall for
be
that.
all, guys. Promise
Mm-mm.
it's not.
Mm-mm.
Hey, we're
Mm-mm.
trying to bring you the truth, you guys.
Yes,
And like
sir.
I said, that's why this is the locker room. We're going to close the door. You're going to get it from people living it and working with people currently. The portal's not for everybody. Armando, I see your question about the portal, and we'll get to that here shortly. But first, we have to, and thank you so much, Akili, because I know your time is short and valuable. But we're almost done, and we got to get to one of the main sections of our show, one of the fan favorite sections. If you are a locker room native, a founder of the locker room show, then you already know what this section of the show is about, and it is our very own lightning round. So if you guys are joining us, we got the lightning right there. The lightning and thunder in the house. And if you're joining us for the first time, you guys, the lightning round is a fan favorite. This is our version, you guys, of word association. So whoever our guest is, gives 60 seconds to tell us the first thing that comes on their mind. Now, we got a quarterback in the locker room, so they process things a lot quicker than some of the other people we don't have in here. So hopefully he doesn't get through my list here too quick. But we're gonna give Akili a shot. And Akili, this isn't just for fun, man. We actually put a little prize on the table. So
okay, I'll give it a shot.
Whoever, okay, so we got a fall winner. And at the end of the season, right before the bowl games, we're going to pick the fall winner. And you get a dinner and a hotel stay on us.
Uh-oh.
All right?
Okay.
So now it's not going to be a number 3 overall type dinner and hotel stay. But
hey, I eat at Chili's any day of the week.
My man,
yes, smacking. Still smacking.
All day long.
Smacking.
All day long.
All right, so let me get my stopwatch ready. Now, he's used to throwing the people that have been on this stopwatch. They didn't make Akili run because his arm was too
all right,
good. They
here we go.
Get on this one again. But we're going to get on this, and you got 60 seconds, okay?
All right.
And then it's just the first thing. We're going to keep it PG-13.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your head, that's what we want. All right.
Okay.
I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna start the clock till I say something. Now you get one extra one for internet delay. We're gonna give you one extra at the end.
All right.
For internet delay. All right. All right.
Let me give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Let's go with it. All right. Let's go.
All right. Number 1, Lincoln High School. Go.
Ooh, ballers everywhere. Hall of Famers as well.
Mike Bellotti.
Oh, Mike Bellotti hired Chip Kelly, Coach Peterson, Jeff Tedford, and Dirk Cutter.
The CFL, Canadian Football League.
A lot of people don't look down on the CFL. If you got an opportunity to play, get your butt over there and go play.
Corey Dillon.
He should be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best running backs ever to do it. I don't know what's going on with Cincinnati, but he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Cancun or Hawaii?
Ooh. God, it's a tough Hawaii because I've been there 2 times. We played some football over there. We tried to come back against Kahuku. We was close, but we came up short.
Rocky or Creed?
Rocky. Nothing like Rocky at all. I mean, he's a baller. Running up there on them stairs and raising them arms. That's what it's all about.
All right, stop. See, you're good. You're a quarterback. So you give elaborate answers. So we'll give. Let's see. We got 1, 2, and we'll revisit a couple of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then he's got 1, y'all. He's got 1 for the extra time delay. So right now our fall leader is at 12.
I wish I knew that. I wouldn't have elaborated. Dang.
That's my fault. Because I usually give a that's my fault. So we're gonna have to have you back on. That's my hook.
Okay.
But let me get through a couple of these because I know that I do want your response to a couple of these. So, what would you tell me if I said Rashaan Salam?
Oh, man. Just growing up with Salam and him catching my first touchdown pass, he's just one of the best ballers from San Diego and in California as a whole. Yeah, and we just celebrated some stuff out here in San Diego at the beach. Cool. He was dealing with some mental health stuff. A lot of guys, once they're done with football, they don't like the way that their career ended. And he was one of those guys, man. He struggled with the way that his career ended, and he just couldn't beat those demons.
Yeah. No, I definitely wanted to ask you that one, and I didn't know that you guys played Little League together, but that was a big one. What about Phil Knight?
Oh man, he's just an innovator. You know what I mean? Like he started selling Nikes out of the trunk of his car. And it just absolutely took off. And the stuff that he's doing right now for Oregon, man, is just incredible.
That's unreal,
what he's doing for Oregon. Yeah, the basketball court and all that stuff. I actually was in a little conversation with some of the guys. I'm curious to see if he's going to build a new stadium out there, or is he just going to keep the Otson Bowl? Yeah, keep the Otson Bowl and then build around that. So I'm curious to see what Uncle Phil does out there at Oregon.
Definitely made the Oregon big time program significant. And then he says, you guys, obviously the Mike Bellotti tree. He said the CFL. If you get the CFL shot, obviously I went up north with the Hamilton for a second. You gotta go. Keep playing. And then he said he's going with the Hawaii over to Cancun. And would you go with the Red Vines or the Skittles, Akili?
Ooh, well, if I'm at the movies, I'm going with the Red Vines. If I'm coaching on the sideline, I gotta pop some Skittles.
Yeah, I feel that. It's situational. It's situational.
Yeah.
It's situational.
There you go. Hey, listen, ones. I'm hearing you though on 28 though, man. Like Corey was a monster, man.
Oh, come on, man. He should be there, man.
I'm talking about like he's a 5 yards a pop with a 9-man front type of dude, man. He was fun to watch. He was fun. My question is, when the last time you talked to Darnay?
Oh, I talked to Darnay like a week ago. Look, all of us.
We got to talk then. You know, he from the crib.
Yeah, it's like 20 of us all on the Bengals group text. Peter Walker's on there, CD, Big Willie, Chad Johnson, Takeo. We're all on there. So whoever you need to talk to, just let me know. So we're on there all day. We're trying to get
Scott, man.
Yeah, we're trying to get Willie in right now into the Hall of Fame. You can see him, posting stuff on Twitter. But after that, we got to get Corey in. Nothing against Edgerrin James. But if Edgerrin is in, Corey should be in.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
That's a great point. That's a great point. That's a Washington native, I believe. So he was a beast at UW. And we're on to our last section of the show, you guys. And obviously appreciate your time, Akili. $1 million killed it. If you do have a question for Akili, Armando, I see yours. Put it in the chat and we'll knock it out. But I do have one for you, Akili. I know you're doing training with these quarterbacks. And for one, obviously tell us a little bit about it. But for two, why did you choose to take it to the next level and train quarterbacks? Because obviously they've got their coaches at their high school or their junior college. But why do you feel like there needed to be another level of service?
Well, to be honest with you, for me, mine is like real specific because just trying to teach the guys not to make the mistakes that I made. And that's just a lot of partying and bad decisions in the off season. And when I start to tell my story to these guys, they start to listen, and you can see them start to look me in my eyes and say, okay, I better not make those decisions because you can end up with a career like I did. And I'm talking about just from the NFL standpoint. Outside of that, man, it's my debt to society. You're supposed to give back. This is what we're supposed to do. We make it to the league, make it to college. If you got some high school football under your belt, you're still a part of the 1%, no matter how you look at it. There's somebody right now that needs to get that information back from you so that they can give it to somebody when they get of age.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's great right there. A lot of cats don't give back, once they get theirs, So to see you reach the level you did and give back, that's tremendous. And I know those kids are benefiting. I see Armando's comment, and he says, what is your guys' advice on the transfer portal? So, this is the locker room. This is a young man that is considering leaving where he's at. He's at a Division III school. Ironically, his head coach is Don Beebe, former.
And
this kid works his tail off. Now, he's from Nevada, though, so he's from the West Coast. And just feels like he's not really getting his shot. Every time he gets in, he does something, but then he sits to the back for the older kids. I know we gave the story about the kid who should have stayed, but do you have any more advice for a kid? I mean, as far as how to evaluate if they should stay or not?
Q, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
No, you go.
Okay.
Well,
I think the biggest thing, because we have people that are called handlers, you can make some phone calls and kind of fish a little bit to see if you have somewhere to go. Don't get yourself in a portal if you don't have nowhere to go. If you got somewhere to go and they're entertaining you coming on in, they've seen some film from your handlers, then okay, we can go ahead and get in the portal. Don't get in the portal because you're angry or whatever the case may be, because there's a good chance you may end up sitting in there. All right. So make sure you have somewhere to go before you get in the portal.
So for your kids that you train, you recommend that if there's an issue at their school, they contact you on the under. And see if anybody's interested.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing a little bit. Contact us.
We're for the kids. You got to. Absolutely. The coaches are going to be all right.
Absolutely. You got to do a temp check. That's all.
Yes, sir.
You got to do a temperature check, and see what's going on. Because, like Akili said, man, you get in there, and end up this man Buki naked, man, and you can't do nothing about it.
Can't do nothing at all. There's like 70-80% people in there just sitting in a portal at home, probably working, doing God knows what. Like they told my agent told my guy, don't go play D2 ball. You might as well get ready to start being a pro. I told him, no, you better go play D2. Yeah, you better go get them reps, get them film.
Rust off. Yeah, keep that rust knocked off.
Come on, man. Can you throw a comeback from the left hash all the way to the field? Can you throw bang eight from the middle of the field over here to the boundary? Can you roll out and throw a comeback on a run? They don't care if you do a D1, D2, D3. They just want to get you evaluated.
Can you make
and then the scouts, can you make the throw? And then they have something that they can bring to the meeting with the round table, all the scouts and all the coaches. They can break it all down and say, okay, let's bring him into camp.
Absolutely. Because he'll take. I totally agree. If I'm a quarterback position, and Akili, correct me if I'm wrong, if you can make the throws, you can go through your progressions quickly, and you have the mechanics, you good.
You're good to go. They'll bring you in. Hey, let's take a look at him.
Yeah.
That's like what they do. Let's take a look at him. That's all you need. That's all you need.
What are your thoughts, Akili, as far as the level you want to coach at? I know you've done college, high school. Is that where you want to stay, or you think even higher?
Well, I'm trying to get my son and my daughter out of here. My son is a sophomore. My daughter's a freshman. We're in talks right now on our group text. We don't know what we want to do. We don't know if we want to go HBCU. We don't know if we want to go D2 and show them what we can do and then gradually move up. Do we kind of disperse and then jump into the SEC Pac-12 and then try to end up back on the same staff? So we're still trying to figure it out right now. I'm going to tell you one that I really like. I wouldn't mind going to Texas because I'm hearing them coaches is making $150,000 with no state tax.
Oh no, it gets better than that. It gets better than that. It gets better than that. It's not just that. You're talking about the old line is on salary at like what I heard at $50K a head.
Wow.
So you're gonna have time.
Wow. I would take that all day.
All day.
The last time I was in Houston, I was looking at some 4,000 square foot houses for like $400,000.
Right.
Brick houses.
Right. With
and
a
I'm
roof.
coaching high school football with an indoor facility. The stadium is packed. They say sometimes you may get a little envelope in the mailbox from some of the tycoons out there.
And
if you beat the rivals and you're doing your training.
It's crazy.
So Texas is not off limits as well, And I tell the guys too, if I ever get a chance to be, when I get a chance to be a head coach, I want my coaches to be able to clear $100,000 after taxes. I want them to be able to take care of their family and stuff like that. Absolutely. And then we can sit back and show these guys that we can coach.
Absolutely. But I will say this while you're on the air with us, though, 11. Hey, I love to see you at a HBCU, man, developing black quarterbacks.
That'd be dope. Yeah. That'd be dope.
I love to see that.
Yeah, we definitely talking about that.
It's cranking out African-American quarterbacks.
Yes, sir. We definitely in talks about that.
Love to see. I'm going to say.
Yeah, no question.
All right. Well, you got two fans here. You got two season ticket holders here. And we'd love to see that, man. Obviously appreciate your time, Akili. Appreciate what you're doing in the community for these young people, man, and keep up the great work. Where can people find you? Where can they reach out to you?
Yeah, definitely. What's your info?
Man, I'm not hard to find. Everything is the same. Akili Smith on Twitter, Akili Smith on Facebook, Akili Smith on Instagram. My other one was hacked. I'm trying to get that one back. So you can find me at Smith Akili on Instagram until I get the other one back.
All right.
Cool,
All right.
cool.
So there you guys have it. Hit this man on social media. He loves to give value, give advice to young up and coming players. So take advantage, man. Very few have lived the life that Akili has, especially in this football world. So, hey, man, have a great rest of your evening, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate that, man. Peace to you.
All right, ones, take it easy.
All right, you guys. So, hey, there you guys have it. That is Akili Smith, man. California native, actually junior college ball, Q. A lot of these kids,
telling you,
they turn their nose up when we talk that JC ball. But he went to JC, then he got to Oregon and cashed out.
Now, Coach T. Now this is what's funny. Now he's the third guy we didn't have from JUCO, and we didn't have Akili, went to the league. Carl Neesmith went to the league. Michael Bishop went to the league. Are we seeing a pattern here? So do not sleep on JUCO. Please do not turn your nose up. That's still some good ball. You still can get,
some of y'all can't even get on the field.
I'm telling you,
JUCO.
I'm trying to tell you. So trust, hey, it's some good ball in JUCO. Do not sleep.
Definitely, man. So, hey, hopefully you guys got some value out of that show. We love to bring it every single Thursday in the locker room. We got another great show coming to you next week, and the hits don't stop. We're going to bring you somebody from the industry that's going to lay it out and give you the truth the way that you need it so you can move in this industry. All right? So have a great weekend. Watch some football, as Q likes to say. What we like them to do this weekend, Q?
Make plays. Make plays.
We'll see you at the top. Y'all have a